Have you ever hit a point in your life where you thought, I should have it all figured out by now? I felt like that in my mid-30s. But what I found was that life had different plans. I realized I was only scraping the surface of what it means to really accept myself fully. Today, I'm sharing how I shifted from chasing perfection to embracing the messy, complicated beauty of becoming. If you ever felt lost in your own growth, trust me, this episode is for you. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another podcast of Empowered, where we dive into the journey of becoming your most authentic self. I'm your host, Alkistis, and today I want to take you through a very personal chapter of my life, entering my mid-30s and experiencing what I believe is my most radical awakening yet. This episode is raw, real, and vulnerable, and I hope resonates with those of you who feel like you're in a constant state of transformation. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so we can continue building this amazing community and I can keep creating content that serves you in your journey. I used to think that self-acceptance was a destination, something you reach after checking off certain milestones. But the reality, it's a lifelong journey. In my 30s, I was still battling with the idea of being enough. The expectations were overwhelming. Society tells us we need to have the perfect career, family, body, and mind, all by a certain age. But what I've learned is that self-acceptance is like peeling back layers. You might get the one layer of comfort only to realize there's underneath more to uncover. In my early 30s, I had to confront my limiting beliefs, especially about perfections. I found myself constantly comparing my journey to others, feeling inadequate. But as I started to embrace my imperfections, I realized that true beauty lies in authenticity. It's about being okay with not having all the answers, allowing myself to be work in progress. As I navigated my early 30s, I began to realize that self-care is not about a checklist of activities or a temporary escape. It's a profound and ongoing journey. My past was filled with pain and failures, failed business attempts that left me questioning my worth, heartbreaks that shattered my confidence, and a series of wrong decisions that made me doubt my instinct. Each of these experiences taught me something invaluable about self-care. In my early and late 20s, I thought I could postpone caring for myself. I was young after all. I believed there would always be time to focus on my body and emotional health. I fell into a trap of thinking that once I achieved certain milestones, then I could prioritize myself. But as life unfolded, I discovered that waiting for the right time only led me to more neglect. I remember looking myself in the mirror and seeing someone I didn't recognize. I was so focused on external achievements that I failed to nurture my relationship with my body and my inner self. I thought I had to look a certain way or accomplish specific goals before I could be worthy of self-love and care. But through each setback and heartbreak, I slowly learned that self-care is not conditional. It's about showing up for yourself, flaws and all, at every stage of your life. Now, in my mid-30s, I embrace my body inside out. I feel so grateful for this amazing machine that takes me to wherever I want to go. I feel so connected to my body, that gets me out of bed every morning, that helps me do all the things that I want to do, and shows up without asking anything back. But it's like I realized that the same it is with nature, that nature doesn't ask, but you just have to take care of it in order for it. It's like the perfect alignment and harmony. So I feel like nowadays my mind and body are so connected in such a profound way. Realize that true self-care involves not just addressing physical needs, but also emotional and mental ones. It means being kind to myself during moments of struggle and forgiving myself for past mistakes. So this is one of the parts that I call my radical awakening. That now I prioritize my well-being not as a reward for achievements, but a part of my ongoing growth. But reality is, no one prepares you how different you feel physically and emotionally in your 30s. Growing up in a household where my mother was constantly busy, I didn't have anyone to guide me through this journey. No one ever told me about the shifts that came with each phase of life. Now, with social media bombarding us with countless expectations and trending health hacks, often feels like we're in a constant marathon chasing after an ideal that may not even resonate with us. There's a lot of noise out there: intermittent fasting, fitness trends, and wellness rituals. But what I realized was that true health isn't about following the trend. It's about listening to my body and its unique needs. I began to educate myself about my body, understanding that women's health is deeply personal. For instance, I learned about hormonal changes and their effect on mood and energy levels. It was eye-opening to understand how these fluctuations could impact my daily life. Filtering through the conflicting advice helped me to take back control of my health. It's been empowering to realize that it's okay to seek what feels right for me rather than what's popular. This journey has been about breaking free from the noise and embracing what aligns with my well-being. I am fortunate enough to be in the business landscape of wellness, which on one hand is very good because I have to learn about what is the new biohacks, what is going on. So I really need to educate myself constantly so that Alchemia can really be is aligned with what is happening at the moment. But at the same time, it is a brand that is timeless and is about the philosophy that less is more, because I think we're so flooded with information that it's so hard to actually have it all figured. And I know most of us don't have it all figured, but at least when the options are not as many and third, I think then the journey becomes easier and more valid, recognizing that health is a deeply personal path that doesn't need to be Instagram perfect. Motherhood is the most profound experiences that forever altered how I see myself and my body. Before becoming a mother, I spent years critiquing my body, seeing it through a lens of not good enough. But when I became a mom, that narrative changed. My body brought life into this world. It sustained and nurtured my children, and that is nothing short of a miracle. This realization gave me the confidence to start accepting my body for what it does rather than how it looks. Motherhood gave me a new perspective, one where I began to see my body as a powerful, resilient, and worthy of care, love, and respect. So I began to incorporate self-care rituals, not to change my body, but to accept it further. I try to remind myself every now and then how grateful I am for this body, this machine that literally allows me to do so many things every single day. For so long, I was searching for my own version of strength. I was trying to figure it out. I didn't realize that at the time, but I was trying to reject everything that I was learned, and I wanted to find my way of what strength meant. But that was definitely a very clumsy part of the journey, as I wanted to prove that I could be powerful, and in my mind, that meant adopting and really tuning into my male energy. I even shaved my hair And looking back at it, I think that was an act of rebellion, or a part of the very clumsy way that I perceived strength and power. And looking back, it wasn't the most gentle statement to make, but it felt necessary at time. I was trying to prove something to myself and to the world. I thought that if I could shed the appearance of traditional femininity, I could somehow inherit the power that I believed that was reserved for men. But power doesn't come from outward statements like that. Real power comes from within, but that obviously took me some time to understand. Healing doesn't always look graceful. In fact, the beginning of my healing journey was anything but. It was awkward, painful, and sometimes very, very messy. The thing is, when you start to heal, the wounds are still fresh, they're tender, and you might stumble as you begin to navigate them. For me, shaving my hair was part of that clumsiness. It was an external act that didn't truly address the internal issues that I was facing. I was still grappling with the belief that being a woman meant being weak, and I was trying to reject that belief in a way that wasn't fully authentic. Or not maybe authentic, but not defined. It took time and a lot of stumbling before I realized that real strength wasn't about proving anything. It was embracing who I was without needing to compare myself to anyone else. Becoming a mother changed everything. I had to learn what nurturing meant, and I had to reinvent it because I didn't know what it felt like. The moment I held my children, I knew that love, softness, and affection were things I needed to create from within. It wasn't modeled for me growing up, but I had to find it inside myself for them. Motherhood became my greatest teacher, pushing me to confront all the wounds I had buried. With every late night, every tender moment, I realized I was healing parts of myself I didn't know even needed healing. By loving my children, I found pieces of love I had always craved for. After years of healing, I experienced a radical awakening. It's not as wow as it sounds. It was just a moment when I realized that healing is not a destination but a continuous journey. The work I had to put into healing my trauma, which took 8 years of dedicated effort, was not just about overcoming the past. It was about transforming myself into someone who could fully embrace self-love and self-worth. This radical awakening was about accepting the work I had done, acknowledging the pain and growth, and realizing that my healing process was a testament of my strength. It was a moment of clarity where I understood that becoming comfortable in my own skin and learning to love myself were not just outcomes of healing, but integral parts of the journey itself. As I began to mother my children, I realized I was also mothering my inner child, the little girl who had been so unseen. Every act of care I gave my kids was a way to reclaim the nurture that I had missed for so many years. I had to face the limiting beliefs I had carried for so long, like not being worthy of love or that success meant being emotionally distant like my father. Healing my inner child wasn't a one-time thing. And it might seem weird that I'm laughing, but the truth is that the irony behind all these things that we've been served on how we have to have it all figured and how easy the self-care journey is. And sometimes even, this kind of trending behind the become your better self. And the truth is that it's such a difficult and draining and hill road it is. But there are not so many people that talk about it in this way. And that was some reason that made me also want to share these thoughts on this podcast, is because people hide the reality, because sometimes it's so hard and people don't want to see the hardships, but the rewards though are so great that we have to speak about it in a raw and honest way. It's an ongoing journey, but back to motherhood, which was also a very transformative part in my personal growth, is that every time I choose to show up for my children, I am showing up for that little girl inside, and I am telling her that you are worthy, you are enough, you deserve to be loved. That's actually a topic for a next episode, where I will dive deep into motherhood and how far you can sacrifice in order to reach your entrepreneurial dreams. As it's one of the struggles that I have faced and I'm still facing, to balance these two worlds together. As I've grown, I've learned that strength doesn't come from rejecting your femininity. It comes from embracing all parts of yourself, the soft, the strong, the vulnerable, and the resilient. My mother's belief that women were weak was something I had to unlearn, and it's still something that I have to grapple with from time to time. As I mentioned before, for many years I felt the need to prove my worth by adopting traits of traditionally associated with the masculine energy: assertive, independent, relentless, drive to succeed. I believed that to be strong, I had to suppress my emotions, push through pain, and disaggregated my nurturing instincts. But this mindset only led me to feelings of burnout and disconnection from my true self. Through my journey, I've discovered that real strength isn't about trying to be like a man. It's about finding balance within yourself. It's about recognizing that strength can manifest in different ways. It's the courage to be vulnerable, to show your true feelings, and to ask for help when you need it. It's the ability to nurture others while also prioritizing your own needs. In my experience, the most powerful women I know are those who embody a blend of traits, those who are compassionate and understanding and gentle, but at the same time, they know how to stand up for themselves when they have to. This duality is exactly where a true feminine energy empowered version lives. And as a mother of two girls today, I feel a deeper appreciation every day towards women and our feminine energy. I embrace the notion that being a woman is a powerful experience in itself. As I reflect on my journey as a mother of two girls, I'm reminded of how vital it is to instill a sense of strength and capability in them. Each day, I strive to be a living example of what it means to be a woman and our multifaceted nature. I want them to see and know from an early age that they can be nurturing, ambitious, and resilient all at once. It's crucial for them to understand that their worth isn't defined by what I think, others may think. It's deeply rooted in their own beliefs and actions. My experience as a working mom juggling various responsibilities, that has shown me just how much we can handle. From managing a household to running a business is an act of balance. These roles requires a kind of strength that isn't always recognized. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is that our strength can sometimes be intimidating. There have been moments in professional settings where my assertiveness or passion seemed to create discomfort among men in the room. I've realized that when a woman takes up space confidently, it can challenge traditional norms and provoke reactions. But instead of shying away from this truth, I embrace it. One strong woman can take the space of 3 men in a room, and there's power in that. This dynamic isn't about diminishing anyone else's contributions. Rather, it's about recognizing our own value and the unique perspectives we can bring on the table. When we step into our power, we not only elevate ourselves, but also pave the way for others to do the same. It's a ripple effect, encouraging more women to embrace their strengths and redefine what it means to be powerful. As I navigate these spaces, I remind myself that our strength is not just for us. It's a legacy for our daughters and the next generation of women. I want my girls to know that they can be unapologetically themselves, to pursue their dreams fiercely, to create a world where their voices are heard and valued. To all women out there listening, remember that your strength is a gift. It's okay to take up space, to assert your needs, and to be your authentic self. We are not just capable, we are extraordinary. In my journey of healing and growth, my husband has been my greatest teacher and blessing. He is the first real-time example I've had of someone who is both financially strong and emotionally present. He embodies the balance I had always thought was impossible. A person who can nurture success without sacrificing love, presence, and connection. Before I could even begin to love myself, he loved me. He saw the strength in me, even in moments when I felt weak, and supported me when I couldn't support myself. His unwavering love and stability were the foundation I needed to begin my healing process. Every day I feel so lucky and deeply grateful for the life we've built together. He's given our children a model of what true balance looks like, showing them that you can have both strength and vulnerability, success and heart. For our kids, having this example means they are growing up with the best of both worlds, a solid foundation that values both emotional connection and the freedom that financial stability can bring. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that healing is what leads us to purpose. My mother's lack of purpose or not clear understanding of a purpose always haunted me, and for a long time I feared I would end up the same way, feeling like I can't figure it out. But through motherhood, through creating my brand, and through embracing my own journey, I found that purpose comes from within. It's not something you chase, it's something you uncover as you heal the parts of yourself that have been wounded. Becoming a mother was the beginning of my own healing. It was in nurturing my children that I learned how to nurture myself. And it was in creating Alchemia, my wellness brand, that I discovered my deeper purpose: to help others heal through their own self-care journey. Alchemia has truly played a really big and important role in my healing journey, as it has not only helped me heal through creating something that I love so much, and there's so much purpose to it, and it financially pays back by serving others in their self-care journey, which means so much to me. But it has always played a crucial role because it has been like a guiding light for me to really see what my purpose is and how I can reach my higher self by supporting and creating ways and tools for others to start from somewhere. I know that someone might feel overwhelmed, like there's so much to undo, so much pain, fear that has built inside us over years. But maybe you've been telling yourself it's too late to change, too late to heal, too late to start over. But let me tell you something. I'm living proof that it's never too late to begin. I've been on this path of healing for years now. And if there's one thing I've learned is that every step, no matter how small, matters. It doesn't matter how many years have passed, how deep your pain might be and how deeply rooted it might feel, or how long you've been stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. There's always room for growth, always time to start rewriting your story, whether it's through therapy, self-reflection, meditation, or even just taking moments to prioritize yourself and your own needs. Every step is progress. Healing is not linear. It's not bound by time. The journey might be long, but if you start, you'll see how it transforms not only your relationship with yourself, but also the relationship with those around you. It's about finding your inner peace, your sense of worth, and realizing that you're deserving of all of this. So if you're listening to this and feel like you've missed your window or that it's too late to change, trust me, it's not. You can begin today, right where you are. In the process of creating Alchemia, my wellness brand, I discovered something far deeper than just a business idea. It became a reflection of my own healing journey. I had started this brand with the intention of creating natural, holistic products, but what I truly uncovered was my purpose to help others heal through the power of self-care rituals. Alchemia wasn't just about skincare or wellness products. It was about transformation, about turning something ordinary like a daily ritual into an extraordinary act of self-love. Every product, every ritual I designed was rooted in the belief that healing starts from within. I realized that the same practice and care I was putting into creating my products were what people needed to give themselves. Through Alchemia, I wanted to offer others the chance to slow down, to reconnect with their own bodies and to create moments of peace amidst the chaos of life. It became clear that it was my calling, not just to sell products, but to offer a path of healing. Whether it's a busy mom taking 5 minutes to herself or someone just looking to have a moment with themselves in the middle of a challenging day. I wanted to create a space for people to show up for themselves in the simplest yet most profound ways. Rituals and products I created are symbols of empowerment and self-worth, and my goal is to help others remember that taking care of themselves is not a luxury but a necessity. In creating Alchemia, I discovered that my purpose was not just to build a business, but to guide them on their own journeys of healing, self-love, and transformation. So as an extension to Alchemia, I find that Empowered Podcast was a very intuitive move that I did, and I started without even thinking about it. I just started because I believe in the power of community, and I want each and every one of you to know that you are not alone in this journey. My hope is that through these episodes, you'll find comfort, inspiration, and a sense of belonging. Whether you're navigating the highs of success or the lows of personal challenges. This podcast wasn't just meant to be a space for me to talk about my experiences. It was meant to be a platform where we could share our collective wisdom, where you, the listener, can relate to these stories and feel empowered to share your own. Our community is built on strength and women supporting women. of lifting each other up and realizing that our vulnerabilities actually our greatest source of strength. I wanted to create a podcast that mirrors the essence of my wellness brand, Alchemia. Just as Alchemia is about turning everyday moments into rituals of self-love, Empowered is about turning our personal stories into lessons of resilience, courage, and transformation. It's about showing up as you are, imperfect, in progress, and still enough. Breaking generational cycles is not easy, and it demands an immense amount of inner strength. It's exhausting at times because you're not just healing yourself, you're rewriting patterns that have been integrated for generations. For me, coming from a family where my father had 3 boys and myself, and then remarried to my stepmother, adding another 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, the task felt overwhelming. With such a large, complex family dynamic, navigating relationships and breaking all patterns has been incredibly challenging. But what I've come to realize is that the journey is about persistence. It's about consciously choosing every day to show up differently than what we have been taught. The more I work on healing myself, the more I create a new journey for my children, one rooted in love, patience, and self-awareness. And though it's overwhelming at times, it's also the most liberating work I've ever done. As my 35th birthday approaches, I found myself reflecting deeply on the journey I've had with my body, my appearance, and how I've struggled to accept myself over the years. There's something about hitting a milestone like this that brings all those feelings to the surface, the insecurities, the pressures, and the ongoing battle to reconcile who you are with who society tells you to be. I've always had a complicated relationship with my body. In the past, I've struggled with my weight and the way I looked, constantly feeling like I wasn't enough. Like many women, I've been bombarded with endless messages from society about what I should look like, what size I should be, and how I should present myself to the world. These pressures created a narrative in my mind that I had to fit into a mold that was never truly meant for me. It was exhausting, and it really felt like all this is not mine. Now, as I enter my mid-30s, I'm still on that journey to self-acceptance. There are days when I struggle with the changes in my body and the reflection I see in the mirror. But I'm working on shifting my inner conversation. Instead of focusing on how I look, I'm trying to focus on how I feel. I'm learning to accept the changes that come with aging, motherhood, and just being human. It's not easy, especially in a world that's constantly pushing us realistic standards of beauty on us. What I've realized is that this journey of self-love isn't linear. It's about waking up one day and deciding that you love yourself fully and unconditionally. Although that's the end goal, but it's really not the way it works. It's about showing up every day with compassion for yourself, being patient with your body, and understanding that your worth isn't tied on how you look, but to who you are and how you feel. This chapter of my life is about acceptance. Accepting the stretch marks, the changes in my skin, the way my body has transformed over the years. It's about honoring my body and for carrying me through everything I've experienced. From the birth of my children to the late nights building my business to the everyday things that I do when I wake up in the morning. I'm learning that self-acceptance is an ongoing conversation, one where I constantly remind myself that I'm enough just as I am. Some days it's easier, some days are harder. As I turn 35, I want to continue that shift. I want to focus on feeling strong, healthy, and connected to my body instead of constantly chasing an external ideal. It's still challenging, but I'm committed to that journey, and I hope that by sharing this, anyone listening who struggles with the same feelings knows that they are not alone. We're all learning to love ourselves in a world that often tells us we shouldn't. But we can rewrite that story. Today I stand before you not as someone who has it all figured out, but as someone who is continuously evolving. My journey of healing, of becoming, has taught me the power of vulnerability. It's when we are open to be vulnerable that we find our true strength. It's in sharing our stories, our pain, and our triumphs that we empower others to do the same. Through my brand Alchemia, through this podcast, and through my life's work, my mission is to empower other women to embrace their own journeys, no matter how messy, painful, or complicated they may be. We all have the power to heal, to grow, to transform, and to become the women we are meant to be. It is our birthright to be the best version of ourselves and to remind ourselves that we should never compare ourselves to anyone. Healing is never linear, but it's a journey that's worth taking. Every step I've taken from my painful childhood to becoming a mother has led me to this moment. I've learned that the most powerful form of resilience comes from embracing our wounds, not hiding them. I'm still becoming, still healing, but I know every wound can be a source of growth, and I know I can turn pain into purpose. If you're on your journey of becoming, remember that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to confront the parts of yourself that hurt, because in that pain, there's a deep reservoir of strength waiting to be uncovered. Thank you for being with me on this deeply personal episode of Empowered. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this: healing is possible. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, you are capable of transforming your pain into power. You are worthy of love, success, and happiness. Remember, the journey of becoming isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself day after day, even when it feels hard. It's about embracing vulnerability, finding strength in your softness, and trusting that you are enough exactly as you are. Till next time, keep embracing your journey, keep empowering yourself, and keep becoming the woman you are meant to be. Only for you, my incredible listeners who stayed till the end, I have a special gift. Use code EMPOWERED at checkout on Alchemia's website to receive an exclusive discount code on your next purchase. My way of saying thank you for being here and showing up for yourself. Let's keep this journey of healing and empowerment going. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey of growth together. Remember, we are in this together. Let's keep rising, healing, and empowering each other every step of the way. See you soon.